welcome back to Cinema Bees. I'm Monica.
And I'm Tyler.
And we are here again with a special Buzz Cut episode. So Buzz Cut episodes are going to be where we see a movie a few weeks after its initial box office open release. And we're just going to do a kind of quicker review of the movies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're going to completely skip the trailers, just get right into the movie. Because there have been some movies this past year that we haven't been able to see. And there was one recently that we weren't able to see, which is this episode's topic.
The Last Duel.
Woo! We were really excited for this one, Monica especially, for one specific reason.
Oh my gosh, yes. Disclaimer, I love Adam Driver so much. Can't even explain it. So anything he's in, I'm down to see.
It's an unhealthy obsession.
I'm in love with him. It's okay.
It was very funny seeing her get invested in Star Wars because of Adam Driver.
Truly, I've always been like, yeah, I kind of like Star Wars. And then after episode seven, I was like, I love Kylo Ren. I will die for him. And I was one of the people that in episode 9, I was like, kiss. And then they kissed. I was like, finally.
No, kiss. Yeah, so today we're talking about The Last Duel. This was a new movie that came out about a week ago, I believe. So
it came out 2 weeks ago, I believe, with Halloween Kills release.
Which is unfortunate because
Yes, I have a special fact. I will say also really quick, I just want to remind everyone, we're not going to be doing spoilers we'll give you a spoiler warning. Yes. So you're feel free to listen here. We'll just give you a general brief description about what we thought of the movie, whether you should see it or not. Then we'll talk about spoilers. But anyway, this movie, because it released the same weekend as Halloween Kills, it did not do great. It's really unfortunate. So the budget for this movie was $100 million. Okay.
Oh no! How much did it make?
Opening weekend. Are you ready? It's not okay. $4.8 million.
No.
They're just absolutely eating money. It's actually sad. And
this is a long movie too.
Now it's at $17.7 million, but still,
that sucks.
I mean, I'm not a movie expert, or a movie marketing expert, but I kind of do think it was a marketing issue because I was telling a coworker, oh, hey, I'm about to see this movie. And he had no idea that this movie was even, he was like, what is that? And I was like, it has Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Adam Driver, some of the biggest actors of our time. And he was like, I've literally never once heard of that.
Yeah. And I think I've only ever seen, 2 trailers for it. I think I've only ever seen this one trailer, but I've seen it twice. Mm-hmm. And it's I never saw it on TV. I don't watch TV that much, but I still never saw it.
Right.
But it sucks because spoiler for my opinion. Oh. I really like this movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We're going to preface by saying that we love this. And I went in with mixed hopes.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this moment briefly, not to discuss trailers, but I did want to give a shout out to AMC A-List. I'm giving them a free plug here, but we have had an AMC A-List for 3 years now. Basically, you pay $20 a month and you can see unlimited movies at the theaters. And I don't know, if you go to the movies as often as us, or if you just like something to do, it really pays for itself. So
legit, we just were because we had seen Dune this past weekend. If you haven't watched or listened to our last episode, we watched Dune. And we reviewed it, talked about it. So go listen to that if you haven't. But we were man, we really want to see Last Duel. And if we didn't have A-List, we would not have seen this movie, which would have been really bad because this movie is great in theaters, especially. Yeah. But we wouldn't have gone and we probably would have never seen this. We still haven't even watched Old, and I'm pretty sure that's out on streaming platforms and everywhere now. We haven't watched it yet, and we want to. So if you like movies, get A-List. AMC, sponsor us.
Yeah, honestly, that would be a great AMC sponsor.
That would be the biggest goal, the biggest flex ever.
It really
just
would.
AMC, just hit us up. But yeah.
Anyway, back to the movie. Sorry, I don't even know what made me think of that. I was just I want to say this, but that's why I brought that up, because I am in a Facebook group with other AMC A-listers, and I posted because I hadn't really seen anyone talking about it, and I was like, hey, has anyone seen this movie? What did you think? And half the comments were it was not good. I hated it. One person said they like thought about leaving halfway through, and the other comments were like, don't listen to these people, it's really good. So I like had no idea what to think, and I absolutely loved it. I was completely intrigued and invested. Like never once was I like looking for my phone to figure out when the movie was over, because sometimes I'll be looking like any minute now, this is
yeah, it has to end. Plus, so it's the same length as Dune, like 1 minute off. It's 2 hours 33. Dune is 2 hours 34.
And spoiler alert from our Dune review, we did not enjoy that. That was boring.
Yeah, like no spoilers for Dune, but like it was such a slow burn, and it did not interest us. Whereas this one, I was fully interested in the entire time. I never was like looking for my phone to be like, oh, when is this going to be over? Mm-hmm. It never felt long. Is what I'm trying to say. It was very, very well done.
So general plot synopsis, just non-spoiler, what you would get from a trailer. Yeah. Basically, it's about a woman who...
It's medieval times.
It's medieval times. It's set in the 14th century, and that's really cool. They did an amazing job with the period, with the period stuff. But basically, she accuses someone of rape, and then her husband, and the person she's accusing have to duel to the death to determine who is right. So that's just the general gist of the plot. That's what you would get from the trailer. So just in case anyone's interested. And so trigger warnings, they do show the scene. So if that's something that bothers you, just kind of keep that in mind. It's not necessarily graphic, but I mean, it's graphic, but not,
It can get bad, especially if like that stuff is, like you are sensitive to that stuff, then like it is a very, very like, that's a warning. Like it's very clear that you need to research more before seeing this movie. But so the 3-act structure that it has is very interesting. Basically, it's the story told through the eyes of the husband. It's then the story told of the eyes of the man who raped her, and then it's told through it's told through the eyes of the woman. So you get 3 of like the similar story, but it's different, and that's what was so good.
It really is so good. But once you get to her side of the story,
you're invested.
Just like, oh my gosh, like that's not how he said. That's not how he said.
You're so invested at that point. You're like, oh my god, it's like everything is aligning now. It makes so much sense, and then you're like freaking out by like the little things, because there are so many like little details that they sneak in there that if you don't pick up on them, it doesn't change the story, but it's like for those people that like pick up on them, which I thought was really cool. But other general comments, the acting is phenomenal.
Gosh, phenomenal. I mean, you really can't ask for better actors in it. I will say, I think the performance that stood out to me the most is Jody Comer. She plays, of course, what is her character's name?
Margaret.
Or
Marguerite.
Marguerite, yes, because I thought they were going to say Margarita, and I was like, Margarita. But no.
Time to party.
But so she plays Marguerite, and she just does such a good job. I was looking, she's not really been in a ton else. She was the Rey's mother in Star Wars.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Holy crap.
So she's already been on set with Adam Driver, and probably. But anyway, she was phenomenal, because the story, really all of them were phenomenal, because it's told through these 3 different perspectives. There are several scenes which you see the exact scene several times, but there are slight differences, and those slight differences have to come from the actors, whether it's just a slight change of dialogue or a slight change of reaction or facial expression. All of the actors did amazing. It was perfectly cast, in my opinion.
100%. It's very cool to see. Like, you can obviously tell that the work they put in really added to this film, because you can tell, like, each time the scene is shown, it's shot, and it's very clear that they shot the scene 3 times.
Yeah, it's not like they just played it again.
Exactly.
I thought the same thing about having to retake the same scene over and over again, and then retake the different takes. Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah, so I thought that was a really, really cool. Like, what they did with the way that they wanted to present the story was so good. I was surprised by Matt Damon, because I don't think I've ever seen Matt Damon where he's like actually been acting before. And I like the main thing I remember Matt Damon for is the Bourne Identity series.
Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
No.
Me either. Sorry, we're a film podcast,
so
but we've
funny.
never seen Good Will Hunting. I don't know how
I've
that
never
happened.
seen so many classic movies. I just watched Alien, like the first Alien, or like a month ago.
I've not seen that.
It's really good, but
spoiler alert: Alien is good.
Yeah, it is it's a very good sci-fi movie, but it's very sad that I haven't seen I've never seen Forrest Gump.
Maybe we'll.
I've never seen Forrest Gump.
You've never seen Forrest Gump?
I've never seen Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, honestly, maybe guys, this idea might be coming to fruition. Maybe we should watch like classic movies that we haven't seen and like do buzzcut episodes of those.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a good idea.
I've never seen Saving Private Ryan either.
Yeah.
I've seen like the first like 5 minutes because that's what everyone says is like so good. But
yeah. But like, there's so many movies that like classic movies I've never seen that I've always wanted to see. I've just never gotten into, and I don't know why. I think I just was never. I was always like on the train of like, oh, what's coming out now,
right?
Instead of like, oh, hey, what are the classics? Which doesn't make sense, but
well, and as we gotten more into film, like, you know, you're young adults, so like you probably weren't like chilling watching Saving Private Ryan at 4 years old. So, you know, I get it.
No, that was Scooby-Doo times.
But anyway, yeah, the other part, the acting was amazing. The other part that I thought was so impressive, and I'm not one that necessarily always notices this, is like the costuming, the set design.
I pulled it up. Janty Yates is the costume designer.
Oh my gosh. Give her the Oscar.
Because I was literally thinking this during the film. I was like, wow, the costume design is so spot on. It's perfect.
It makes me honestly feel like horrible that this movie didn't do well, because you can tell, I don't know, even with Dune, I don't know, this sounds wrong. I don't know. You can tell us, I guess, with movies that, like, I feel like they could have done more. And
Halloween Kills.
Yes.
Halloween Kills could have done more to make it stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or to make it, like, more believable that you're in the world. World
building. This movie, I think, does a great job of world building, even though it is our world, but, you know, in the 14th century, you're just, like, jump right in and you're there. And it's really believable, in my opinion. I liked how they still, because, you know, when you watch, like, Shakespeare or, like, stuff that's set, like, back in the day, and they're just talking, and you're like, I cannot follow.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job of making it more formal and the way they would speak back then, but they still modernized into where you didn't have to, you're just flying through. I think I saw some people in my group complain about that, saying like, oh, well, no one would talk like that back then, or like they didn't have accents and they were in France, and it's like, well, they would have been speaking French, like
that's very true. I mean, like, I watched Bridgerton earlier this year. Did you watch Bridgerton?
Oh my god, I love Bridgerton.
That was almost like, it was less modernized than this.
It was kind of hard to follow.
It was kind of hard to follow at times. And so I think they did like a perfect time of like getting the dialogue to be believable for the time. Like, it really did like make me feel like I was in the world, but it also made perfect sense. Everything was so clear that I was just like, I'm there for it.
That's why it kind of upsets me that it wasn't marketed that way, because I think that this would have appeal to a general audience.
This would be so good.
So I don't know,
because they almost like, so there's moments in this movie where like there's like secrets that are hidden that like take place, like how Monica had said, like, oh, he didn't say this one thing when he was told through his perspective, whatever. It's almost like portrayed in the movie as like nothing, like it's not even addressed. You aren't like the film doesn't like just emphasize like, hey, this is different, it just happens. So it's almost like portrayed as a mystery, like you're supposed to figure it out and you're supposed to notice these things, and it's not portrayed like that in the trailers. For sure. I think they could have just done a better job marketing it overall. Any other general comments? The first act cinematography was really good. Like, I noticed stuff more, but I think so there's like this kind of weird thing that happens when I watch a movie where the more invested I am, the less I'm actually like analyzing it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree.
So
I agree.
First act, I was like getting into it, and I was like, all right, I'm getting into it, and I was noticing like the cinematography, and that's when I noticed the costume designs. The entire rest of the movie, I was just so in it that I did not ever think about the analyticals or the logistics of it, and that's a good thing. Like, I was so drawn into that movie that I was nowhere else, which is a very good thing.
I did just want to say, just add on, just as general comments, this is definitely, I know people are saying this is like a movie for the Me Too movement, and some people like use that as criticism, And although I'm the first person to say that if a movie feels too pushy, then I'm kind of just like, it takes me out of it pretty quickly. But this does not feel pushy. It's just telling a story. And I think it did a really good job of
addressing the truths of it. Like, it literally did was like, it never picked a side. It was showing you the facts as like with the person's story, what their story was, and then what their story was. Like, you got every side and you were able to make the choice yourself, which I think is a good way of like showing that. Yeah.
I was just looking at what else Ridley Scott directed, and he directed The Martian. Did you ever see that?
No, but I've heard good things. That's Matt Damon as well, right?
Yeah, he loves Matt Damon. Blade Runner.
Oh, I mean that's his iconic one. I know I had heard the name Ridley Scott.
Gladiator.
That is also that won Oscar.
Yeah.
Whatever year it came out. 2000.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to keep that in mind, I just wanted to mention the director a little bit. So I think it was phenomenal. I feel awful. I implore everyone to see it because it really was such a good movie, and I hope that it finds success and that I'm like, I hope the team knows I did a good job.
Yeah, because it was literally phenomenal. I'm not quite sure on my rating yet, so Monica can go with her rating first, but we should still ask, is it buzzworthy?
Oh, it's definitely buzzworthy.
It is 100% buzzworthy. We be buzzing all, like, we didn't drive home together after the movie, but I was thinking about the movie when I was driving home, and I was like, I'm happy I saw that.
I would watch it again for 100%. Sure.
I would watch it again now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how good it is.
I agree. I honestly, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I really, really recommend it.
I think I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
I was gonna go 8.5, but like, there's so much that's so well done about this movie that it's a 9.
I agree.
It's at least a 9. I can't bring it down any further.
I think I'm gonna have to wait till the end of the year to like give 10s if I promote stuff to 10s, you know? Yeah. Like, I feel like I could promote stuff to 10s. I don't want to start out at a 10.
The funniest thing is I'm the opposite. I drop stuff down.
Yeah.
I always like
every time I leave a movie, Tyler's like, it's a 10.
It's a 10. It's amazing. It's the best movie I've ever seen. And then like I get home and I'm like, all right, it was a 5.
Yeah.
I always drop down. So I start at the high end, but this one actually I could find it. I could see it finding its way up to the top.
Yeah.
This year, my top movie right now is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and I do kind of think this is better than Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
I'm not seeing Shang-Chi, but still,
it's very good. Like, and that I have that at a 9.5. So I'll probably, I don't know. It'll be an interesting time at the end of the year when I actually shuffle everything around.
Anyway, so I want to get into spoilers a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the plot now. So if you are wanting to see this movie and haven't seen it yet and don't want to be spoiled, please go see it. It is that good. I'm like, legit, this is like one of my top recommendations to see a movie right now. It's probably my only recommendation.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. If you want to see a movie this weekend, and honestly, let's talk about the 3 movies we already reviewed. If it's between Halloween Kills, and that's shocking for me to say, Halloween Kills, Dune, and Last Duel, I would recommend Last Duel over all 3 of those.
If those were my 3 options and I knew what going into it, I would see Last Duel again. 100%. Even with how long it is. It's the same length as Dune.
And Dune felt like an eternity.
Yeah, Dune felt long. And this one did not feel long. So definitely go see it. But if you don't care about spoilers, or you've already seen it, hopefully, spoilers are about to begin.
All right. So I think I just want to jump in really quick and say the thing that I liked most was I liked how they put Legree. I'm just gonna use the actor names, guys. I have character names. I'm sorry. I've been having such a hard
time. I've been having such a hard time with character names, just in general, especially Dune. Dune, I was just like, I'm the only person.
Like 17 different names for Tim Chalamet's character. I was like, well, who is he? But anyway, yeah. So I liked how they did Matt Damon, then Adam Driver, and then oh my god, Jody Comer, and then Jody Comer, because I think it was really important to show, like, men's stories are always told first. And when you first hear Matt Damon's story, you're like, I literally turned to Tyler, I was like, he's a king. I was like, he's amazing. Like, he's so, like, kind-hearted and, like, innocent. Brave. And then Adam Driver, like, you're like, you know, he kind of sucks, but, you know, I see his points. and she's kind of in the background of those stories, but it's her story. So they kind of really do a good job of taking charge and be like, no, this is my story to tell, not yours. I thought that was really amazing.
I remember seeing the first view and I was like, wow, like Matt Damon's character is a beast. Like he's awesome. He's super kind-hearted and he's like nice to his wife. Mm-hmm. Next one, you like, there's some things that he says that you are like, maybe he didn't say it in the way that he said it. Mm-hmm. And then you get to the next story and you see some of the stuff that we heard about from his point of view, but we didn't see. And it's like, okay, so he was lying. So he's kind of a bit rude. And then at the end, you're like, oh, never mind. He's the worst human being.
Yeah, I think that my favorite part about the entire movie was that it showed how flawed human beings are. Because every single one of them had flaws, but even Adam Driver, every single one of them had like redeeming qualities about them. And it's just about, of course, in the end, you side with her and like you are like, oh, she's right. She's telling the truth and the truth is what matters. But you're kind of just like, you know, Matt Damon sucks and is rude to his wife, but he's also like willing to fight for her. But Adam Driver like sucks and literally raped a woman, but he also was
charming
and was taught by society, like, you know, society has always rewarded him for his behaviors. He's never really realized that what he's doing is wrong. Because I genuinely believe at the end of the movie that this is, I guess, one of the biggest spoilers, is that I genuinely think he did not think he raped her.
I think so as well.
100%.
They made these characters feel human. It was so insane.
So good.
It was incredible. And it was also incredible how they managed to do that while each act is through the eyes of the person. So every single one of these, besides the last one, like, so Legree's point of view and the Matt Damon's point of view are biased. Mm-hmm. It's a I can't remember the word, but like a false narrator or unreliable
narrator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Matt Damon's view, he's like the best, or he's trying to express that he's the best, and he does a great job of that. But even at the end, you still feel like he's an actual person. Yeah. Which is insane how you can go from having someone be almost non-human by being how great they are, but you still know that they're human. It's insane how they managed to make each scenario still feel believable, even though they're told by different people.
Completely.
And they have different biases.
It's just so reflective of society. I just think it just was so real. It really makes you think about society and how these situations happen and how we handle these accusations, but not in a way where it's just like, I don't know, not in a way that was condescending or felt preachy. And
it never felt like you were in this movie and you were watching and you knew the men were wrong.
Yes, that's a good point.
It was never like specifically stated that, oh, the men are bad. Mm-hmm. And even once you learn about Matt Damon's character and who he truly is, you still hate him because he's just rude to his wife. But it's not like, oh, he's bad. It's not a good and bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's everyone is gray. Mm-hmm. Even Lady Marguerite, Jody Comer, even she is in the gray, which I think is such a good way of just making all these characters seem believable. They all have strengths and they all have weaknesses. It's just like humans in real life. So I thought that way of doing it was so good.
I agree. I did just think of a criticism I had. There was a lot of animal cruelty in the movie. Obviously, no animals were harmed in the making, but you see like 4 horses die, and that was deeply upsetting to see. I did not enjoy that.
Yeah, let's get into some of the like gore and like more gruesome moments of this movie. So basically, like, there are scenes. I mean, it's medieval times, and people are fighting for honor, whatever.
And they're in the middle of a war, so yeah.
So we get like a few scenes of war, but like in battles, like swords clashing, like all that stuff. And it hurts. It's so funny because it's like you would hate going to a movie and the audio design hurting your ears. Mm-hmm. But in this movie, I liked it. It literally made me feel like war was bad, like, because it hurt me.
Yeah, it did a good job also, I think, of showing how gruesome wars back then were. Because in a way, like, obviously war today is not good either, but it's gunshots and then it's kind of over very quickly. And this is like very man on man, like just really like these men are killing people with their hands.
Especially because it's like nowadays, like we kind of get the impression that you don't have to like go out into battle,
Yeah.
you can kind of stay on the sides and not.
Yeah.
In
you don't. Sometimes you don't even have
term.
to literally look at the men that you're killing. You're just shooting them from afar.
Whereas in medieval times, you have to be next to them to kill them, to fight them. So it's like way more impactful, and the way that they do it is very good. One of the things that I literally noted in my mind when we were in there is the fight scenes are really quick. They don't like take up that much time.
I appreciated that so much.
But the way that they were shot were really cool because it was all stuff that you couldn't see. You could not see like him doing like a cool action move where he was like shoving someone's head through a sword. You couldn't see it. The screen was always dirty.
Yeah.
And the shots were so shaky and cut so fast that you never saw it. It really added to the feeling
just like
it's
war.
hectic.
Yeah.
It's hectic.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just trying to survive in this battle, which I thought was a really cool detail and a way to portray the war so well.
Yeah, I agree completely.
So one of the things that we had talked about in our non-spoiler part of the review was how there are little things that that change throughout the stories. The most prominent to me was the one where it's all three of them together.
And the handshake part?
The handshake part.
Yeah.
You want to explain it?
No, yeah, that part's really cool. So basically, Matt Damon's point of view is, so it's basically Matt Damon and Adam Driver have been kind of having a feud, and this is a moment where they reunite and kind of decide to make peace. So in Matt Damon's version, he reaches out his hand first to shake it, and then he says like something like, let's bring peace to
there's no ill will.
No, there's no ill will between us. And then in Adam Driver's telling of the story, he's the one that reaches his hand out first to shake the hand, and he's the one that says there's no ill will between us. And then in Jody Comer's version, neither of Matt Damon does reach out his hand first, but neither of them are even the ones that say that. It's some random person that says like there's no ill will between us.
Yeah, exactly.
And they make it just, the movie did a really good job of showing how men are always the main character, and when they write that version of themselves in their life, they are no doubt about it the main character in everything they do. They are the driving force in everything that happens around them, versus women who stuff happens to them and they have to deal with it, versus men who they are the ones that do stuff.
It was like such a cool detail where it was like, because they also like, so like each act is structured where there's a title that shows up, like the store or the truth according to Matt Damon's character, and the truth according to Adam Driver's character. But then it says the truth according to Jody Comer's character, and then everything gets blacked out but the truth.
So yeah.
And you know that that's the truth that you should believe. And it's also very ambitious of them, because once you say that that's the truth, the two other scenarios don't matter.
Yeah.
But they did it in a way where they do matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, I completely agree. I do just want to say, I know that some people are tired of like political commentary in movies or whatever you want to say. I just genuinely think that this movie does an excellent job of showing how each of these men genuinely thought they were right and had good intentions, but it's showing how even if you have good intentions, you need to be more aware of women. I don't know. I just think that this is like an important movie.
Same.
Because the actual rape scene between Adam Driver and Jodie Comer's, their versions, they nearly identical. There are just subtle differences in tone, in Adam Driver's perceived tone of how she said no or how she was resisting. He was like, oh, she's resisting like in a playful manner.
Because they show that earlier on in the movie. Yeah. In that same act, we see that Adam Driver is messing around with these like many women, and he literally, it's the same exact scene.
They're playing around.
He chases her around the table, and she's like, no, like as like playful, and I guess they've all like consented before that. Like they've all are obviously into that. So it's very interesting to see, because you know exactly when you get to that point of the rape scene, you know exactly where he got that idea.
Yeah,
and it is like, I mean, it's not like rectifying him of his decision, and it's still done in a way that it makes it believable.
And I also think it does a good job of saying that it's obviously the man's fault, but I'm saying it's a society issue. You know what I mean? It's that the world around him has led him to make these decisions, and if we change the world around us, then these will change the people within the world. I think I know that sounds like super deep, but I think that's the point of the movie. I just think it's so good.
It did a really good job of like addressing the scenario without just like making it like homing it in almost. You didn't like beat a dead horse. Like we got it, but we got it at the end of it. It was not we got it throughout the entire thing, which was a really, really cool idea.
I agree. At one point, they literally did beat a dead horse. That was upsetting.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Then just really quickly, before we wrap things up, the actual duel,
I was
Last
about
Duel,
to say the same thing.
which is, and that's what the movie is called, but it's truly only less than 10 minutes of the movie, is really good. I also want to point out, I like their use of music, and especially the use of the lack of music in so many of their scenes. I mean, because you could have done dramatic orchestral music during that battle scene, but it's just like, no, this is the raw battle, and this is what's happening. The
other time I pointed out like the lack of music versus music, and I said this to Monica in the theater, is during the rape scene through Adam Driver's character eyes, there's no music. It's dead silent, especially when he's chasing her up the stairs. It's dead silent. You just hear the footsteps. But during Jody Comer's version of it, it's very, very eerie music. It's like tense. Because in the original, or not in the original, in Adam Driver's eyes, it's just another scenario. It's not anything special to him, but to her, it's a tense situation, which I thought was a really, really cool way of making the same scene that felt very similar. They made it into a different scene, just by like simple additions like that, and it was very, very well done. But I do agree with you on the duel. The duel is great. The action is good. It's super tense because the entire time you are at a loss of who's gonna win.
Yes, and it's quick enough. I appreciate that personally. I saw someone in the review say that this is more like a chick flick, and I don't think that's true, but I do think it does have an appeal to a wide audience, including women. Not that stereotypically, I'm sure plenty of women like action movies, but if you like chick flicks, you might not love action movies. Like for me, if an action scene is too long, I'm done. But basically, it was the perfect amount of time for the action scene, for the resolution, and it was really well done. It was really good. The combat was amazing.
Yeah, it was all like very, very like almost flawless in my opinion.
Yeah,
it was I was just surprised with how well everything was crafted. So
I agree.
I'm still gonna say I'm definitely saying this is a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree completely. It really is.
I might boost it up if like nothing else comes out that's like super, super mind blowing to me. Oh, I might boost it up. But as for right now, it's a 9 out of 10.
I agree. I didn't like watching the horses die.
Yeah, that was a bit sad.
Yeah.
We both looked at each other. We were like, this is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty like...
It's kind of graphic. I was just like, I've had enough.
Yeah, like it didn't show like intestines or anything, but it was just like, made you feel bad.
Yeah.
It made you feel real bad.
It's horrible.
All right, guys. So that brings us to the end of the podcast. I know last episode, we had said our next episode was Last Night in Soho, which is still coming. But after we recorded, we were just like, you want to see Last Duel tomorrow? And so we did. All thanks to AMC A-List. Sponsored. Not sponsored. I wish. But, so thank you guys for watching. I want to ask if you liked it, then please rate us. If you didn't, please tell us what we did wrong and what we could improve upon. You know all the handles, so please
Instagram, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, email us cinemabeesbuzz@gmail.com, Instagram cinema_bees, and TikTok cinemabees, and we'll be on other platforms eventually, but you know where to find us. And go see Last Duel. I highly recommend it, really.
Yeah. Hopefully, so I think we have finally struck our like schedule, so you should expect episodes 100% Mondays at 9 a.m. That is going to be our schedule from now on. We're just going to keep it at that. You don't have to worry about when is it going to release. So now it's always Monday at 9 a.m. If we do have a buzz cut like today's, it will be at 9 a.m. on Thursday. That way it gives you something to watch. That way if either of the two you can judge which of the two movies you want to see if you haven't seen it for the next week. So thank you guys for listening.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.